I wanted to share more about Nashville because my channel Be You Bloom is all about mind mastery for joyful living, creating more joyful experiences in your day-to-day life, right? So your environment, the people you surround yourself with, the interactions you have with others, that's all a part of your joyful experiences. And Nashville certainly delivered. So before I get started and share with you what I did during this trip, I wanted to give a special thank you to someone who has no idea this is coming. So, hi Stuart Deming. Surprise! Your channel was so amazing in helping me before I actually went to Nashville. The content that you deliver is so on point. Everything from the bakeries, eateries, restaurants, cafes, from small to large restaurants to recreation and activities, everything that you mentioned about Nashville was 1000% true. Even from like differentiating how the different cities or towns are from one another, you're so on point. And so I wanted to thank you and your partner. And I just learned today that you also have a podcast. And I think this week you came out with something about 12 South, one of my most favorite places to visit in Nashville. And so for those of you who want more details and more information, these are your guys. I mean, the content that they deliver, so amazing. Stuart, you should be cloned and do this for every single state in the United States because no one delivers the content like you do. So thank you. All right, you guys. So if you have 4 or 5 days to go to Nashville, this is going to be perfect for you, okay? Because this is exactly what I did. So we left on a Saturday and we landed at about 4 o'clock from Los Angeles to Nashville. That was perfect because we had the entire evening to enjoy the nightlife in Nashville, which we were excited to kick off with, you can imagine. So the moment I got to the airport, I could already feel this energy shift. Everything felt a little more calmer, more present, more connected. I looked around. I'm a behaviorist. I'm always studying people, especially what creates people to smile, to engage, to have more joy in their life. And I'm watching these people and there's no phones out. There's people who are making eye contact and just laughing. And I'm like, don't you have a flight to catch? I mean, goodness gracious. I'm from New York and now in LA. I mean, we're always hustling and bustling, you know? So it was just such a positive feeling the moment we landed at the airport. And so we chose to stay in Brentwood. Brentwood is perfectly centered to all these little charming towns that we wanted to visit, and anywhere from 10 minutes to upwards of maybe 30 minutes at max. We got everywhere we needed to be. In fact, one day we went to every single one of those towns. I think there was 7 or 8 in one day. And it was pretty awesome. And then you could go back to the ones that you really resonated with just to get more experiences out of it, right? So it's a good way to do it. And so we stayed at the Candlewood Suites, and from the moment that we got there, we were greeted with such Southern hospitality. I mean, it was like, wow. And the person engaged us in great conversation for about 25 minutes before we went up to our room. And then about an hour and a half later, checked in on us just to see if there was anything that we needed and if the room was great to go. And it was great. And so we headed out to, do not kill me guys if I say this the wrong way, the Gulch area, Gulch I think it is. Well, you know what I mean after all. So we went to Hattie B's there, and we were excited because we heard so much about the fried chicken at Hattie B's. And I knew there was going to be a line. It's right by downtown. It's that whole downtown area, and it was about 40 minutes, and let me tell you, it's worth the wait. And we met another couple that was there visiting as well. They loved it too. We had fried chicken, we had baked beans, peach cobbler, banana pudding. It's worth it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. And then we decided to, you should Uber or what have you around here because it's very hard to find parking, but we wanted to go to the pedestrian bridge, and the bridge was so beautiful at night to take pictures. And there's another one right behind it that's lit up. So it looks so awesome, like an inverted U right behind you. And you know, there's no car, so you're just going back and forth as pedestrians and taking photos and saying hi to people. You cannot pass people in Nashville without people saying hello to you, which was also very nice. And then from there we walked over to Broadway, which is right there. and the strip was closed down to traffic, so that's why I'm saying Uber, but it's perfect because there's lots of space to walk around. And what I really love is that you can go from cafe, restaurant or lounge or bar area, like each one from one to one. It's like if your ear was tuning into a radio station, and with each turn you were listening to a different artist. It was that magnificent. And the artistry, the singers were incredible. And what I love about it is it's just sort of that the windows are so massive and open that it's like bringing the outdoor in. So you feel like you're part of it or in a part of the concert, and you're not even on the inside. So as I was walking, I remember hearing this woman's voice, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she needs to be on the radio. I mean, the level of the talent is just like through the roof. And then as I was heading back to our car, because we actually got parking, we were very lucky. My ear caught on to someone singing "The Summer of '69." Now that's my jam. So I was like, whoop, I went running right to that window, like starstruck and screaming. And oh my gosh, the guy who was singing it on the guitar turned around a couple times, made eye contact. My husband was just shaking his head. He knew I was all in my glory. And another girl came by and saw that I was dancing and joined me. It was really fun. So the next day, we decided that we wanted to try to hit up as many of these towns, these different areas as possible. So we did, and I created this list, and I organized it so that it was more efficient, so we can kind of go the right, sort of in the right direction, hopefully. So we started off in Bellevue, and Bellevue, very much like families, family-friendly, children, older homes. What I love about Nashville is as you're driving from place to place, town to town, you just see the most amazing scenery, from the greens and the trees and the colors on the leaves. Oh my gosh, from reds and burnt reds to greens and yellows and oranges, and it's vibrant. It looks like Bob Ross's paintings. You know, the guy who used to draw trees and just put dot 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 dot, and he's like, look at the happy tree, it's a happy tree, and you were just like immersed in what he was doing, like he had you. And that's how it is looking out the window as you're driving through Nashville. You're just like it's pretty awesome. So we get to Bellevue, and oh my gosh, Percy Warner Park. You have to go to Percy Warner Park, and that was incredible. When we went to Percy Warner Park, I likened it and described it as my enchanted forest. It was so magical and so spiritual. I felt such a connection there. I got emotional. My tears came from gratitude. I got to pray in there. There was so much thankfulness that I got to express there, to nature, to God, and hearing the leaves and the sounds of the birds, and just being quiet, and then meeting some amazing people on the trail and talking for 30 minutes. I mean, it's really, everyone's willing to engage, which is really lovely. I think I was only in about a third of the way in, and 3 hours passed, and I didn't even want to leave. And then after that, we headed to the Loveless Cafe. That's a good place to stop either before or after you go to Percy Warner Park, okay? For breakfast or lunch. And it was so amazing. That was my favorite place to eat for a chicken and biscuit. And you can add a fried egg on top. I didn't do that, my husband did that. It was so good. It was so good. The batter is amazing. And they have this hash brown casserole. My goodness, this hash brown casserole was to die for. You have to have it, even if it's just like you add it to whatever you're having. I don't care what it is, just add it. You're not going to regret it. What's great is they have a market where you could buy biscuit, you could buy the mix, you can buy the batter stuff, meaning like to bread the chicken and all that stuff. There's so many cute things you can buy in there for gifts and souvenirs. It's so precious. And they also have an inn as well. We went back another day to grab some fried chicken from there because we just loved it so much. And they bring you to the table, oh my God, or if you order to take out, like a mountain of biscuits. And they come with these amazing, yummylicious preserves, from like peach preserve to blackberry preserve. Oh my God, with butter. Am I making you hungry? And then they're so sweet. Like when we went to eat in person, I hadn't decided what I wanted to order, and I felt bad because there was a couple behind us, and I said to the young lady, do you want us to move aside? And she's like, no, you just take your time. Like, I'm like, where am I? It was so nice. And the staff and service everywhere was very warm, open. Waiters, waitresses ready to talk and have a meaningful conversation too, right there at the table. So that was a thumbs up. And then after Loveless Cafe, you can hit Brentwood, which is where we were staying, and see these monster mega mansions with sprawling lands all around them. I mean, I think that you have to scooter to your mailbox or get a bird or something like that to get you to your mailbox, you know, because there's so much land around you. I don't think you know if your neighbors are home. And when I say mega mansions, that many of them are bigger than what I have even seen in Beverly Hills here, which is it's just amazing. I'm speechless with it. It's just like, wow. It's a wow factor. Your jaw drops as you're watching this. This is beautiful. So from Bellevue, we didn't stop in Brentwood because that's where we were staying. So we went to Franklin. Franklin is so charming. It's so charming. It's that and 12 South are my favorite towns. It reminds me, now we are crazy fanatics about Universal Studios. We always get season passes, and it reminds me of when you do the tour in the trolley and you see these picture homes, or they call them picture homes because they're fake. You open the door, there's nothing on the back side. And so you get to go on the set of Desperate Housewives or whatever it is. It looks like that. That is exactly Franklin, the downtown area of Franklin, which is like 3 blocks or something like that. Very short, very short like strip, but it's so cute, and it has a roundabout right in the center of downtown, and it has a baby city hall. I don't know what this is, but that's my baby city hall. It's just so charming. And my favorite coffee shop is in Franklin, the coffee shop at Franklin. And it's this beautiful home. I don't know if it's a Victorian home that's been turned into a cafe. You could eat wonderful foods there for breakfast or brunch or what have you, and then enjoy the best lattes and your coffee. And each room is its own nook, and people were reading books, and some were talking. Very few were on computers. There are people on their laptops, but I saw more people talking or reading. And then you can sit on the side of the home, or you can sit on there's a swing, a red swing where 3 or 4 of you can sit, and it's just on the porch and swing as you sip your latte. Oh, I love that place. And so from there we went over in Franklin, walked down that little, circle roundabout, past Little City Hall, and went to Biscuit Love. Oh, Biscuit Love. Also super charming in Franklin. They look different because Biscuit Love has other locations. And we chose this one because of the way it looks, and they're bow nuts. And so it feels like a house again. You're going into different rooms. And then we ate in the back. So the back area, like a backyard, is massive with family style dining, picnic tables, and then 4-person table, 2-person tables. Beautiful. We have breakfast there, and of course our bow nuts. They're biscuits, of course, and you have this powdered sugar, and you just dip your bow nut in this blueberry magnificence, and I just wish I could have some bow nuts like right now. So that's Franklin, and then from there you go to Green Hills, and I call this my triangle, which is Berry Hills, Green Hills, and 12 South. So that triangle, again, my name for it, Green Hills is upscale, like Brentwood, and it has the most, oh my gosh, the houses, they're so different from one another, but equally as magnificent. And you're just like, oh my, who designed this, and then who built it? Like, you guys are talented. So it's just a joy just to even just drive around, because you're visually just like impacted in a positive way. And Green Hills also has the Green Hills Mall, so upscale mall. And if you kind of are itching to feel like some parts of home and you want to see some stores that you recognize, like a Macy's or something like that, whether it's inside the mall or right across the street or attached on the outside of the mall, there's some stores all around. So you have that like almost like that city energy that you can feel right in Green Hills. And great restaurants too, by the way, in Green Hills. And then you just cross over and like just 5 more minutes right there, you're back to these amazing residential homes, and it's just beautiful. From there you can go to Berry Hills, and I love Berry Hills because like I think Stuart had mentioned this, is that these are smaller homes and older homes, some of these, and they've been, you'll notice outside the homes, you can tell that they're businesses, these homes, but it's done in a really nice way, like it blends in. And basically they've been transformed into studio homes or production houses where songwriters can get together, musicians, artists, singers. What I absolutely love about this Nashville community of musicians and songwriters, oh my gosh, you have to see this documentary that I just saw on Nashville songwriters. I had no idea the amount of hits that, not just country, but every genre of some of my most favorite artists that I had no idea it was a Nashville songwriter who put them together, who wrote it. And so we need to go beyond the artists and really look at the songwriters, because those are the people who are touching our heart space. You feel that energy in Berry Hills, and they have the cutest cafes there too. Again, very different from each other. So here's what I'll say about Nashville coffee. For me, at this very time, Nashville beats everybody in terms of coffee, the coffee houses, the experience that you feel, the fact that each coffee place is so different from each other. And even when it's a franchise, they literally design the entire experience of it all to cater to the community that they serve. That's brilliance. And you feel it too. So if it's more artistic, or if it's something that is more musician oriented, it's just awesome. You got to see that for yourself, you guys. And then 12 South, my favorite, right along Franklin, who's the other one that's my favorite. 12 South reminds me of a strip. It's like a strip again. I don't think there were sidewalks, but easy to walk and navigate through. And it reminds me of like Cancun or St. Martin, and it's bar and cafe, restaurant, bakery, cookies, ice cream, like the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. There on 12 South. And so it just has something for everyone, but it's not overwhelming. You don't feel like you're with a bunch of tourists. You feel like you're with the people that live in Nashville. And that energy is so youthful and creative, and it's just good it feels good to be a part of it. I loved the Frothy Monkey. You have the picnic tables outside, eating underneath a tree. You have White Bison Cafe coffee, more sleek and modern, clean lines. And you go up to the second floor, and the rooftop or the top area is just so awesome. You're gonna want to hang out there all day, whether you have a project to work on or you're meeting friends for coffee or a bite to eat. We have tacos in that area too. I mean, there's so much to do. And when you're walking even the side streets at night when the sun is setting, and you're looking at these beautiful different kinds of houses. Now these were not the monster size houses, but they remind me a lot of like the energy of the townhomes that I see lined up in New York City, except there was more space between them, and there was even more charm to them. and the lighting was so great too, by the way. So that's 12 South. You could obviously tell that I love it. And then from there, we went to East Nashville. We wanted to check out East Nashville. We heard some parts of it is still transitioning. We know that when that happens, it's like the East Village in New York City, and you have creative, artistic type of people, people who also people who are painters and muralists, and just wonderful energy there, creativity there, that you could just feel it. And we went to Barista Parlor, which is a coffee house that has another one in Germantown. It has one in East Nashville. And once again, in East Nashville, you can feel that creativity. It's a little slightly different in Germantown, where it's a little more industrial, that area. Reminds me of Brooklyn. Like, the little nuances that they pay attention to makes a huge impactful difference, So we talked to the girl there in East Nashville. She was so nice. The barista was amazing there. And then we also went to Joey's Pizza right around that area, which is amazing. And I took down I wrote down some of these names so that I don't forget them for you. Joey's House of Pizza, from 11 to 3, they just serve until they run out of food, and every day they run out of food because it's that good. People line up on the outside all the way through the inside. Stephanie, you're the bomb. She has everything under control. I don't know how she does it. She handles everybody while she's like spinning pizzas, creating meatball sandwiches, customizing your pizza, one slice of pizza. I mean, you could see her heart into it. And I think this is like a family business. And it was so good that when we went the first day, we got there closer to 3, so there was only 3 slices of pizza left. The most amazing pizza I've had in my life. And I'm a New Yorker, obviously. You can hear it. So we went back the next day, and she serves so many people in a day, and she immediately recognized me, was like, "Oh, you're back." And I was just like, "Oh my God, you remember? I was here for like 5 minutes ordering a pizza." And got the meatball subs, and then went to Shelby Dog Park. If you don't want to, we swallowed our pizzas in the car because they were that good. But they were so packed that day, and they have a small eating area. So we went to Shelby Dog Park nearby if you want some place to go, with a beautiful little lake and a bench, and we had our meatball subs there. Amazing, amazing. So then we went from East Nashville, we went to Germantown, and like I said, it reminded me of Brooklyn, of Williamsburg. And immediately, the moment I got out of the car, I literally was standing on the sidewalk, and I looked at the buildings, and it just reminded me of New York. And I said, "Oh my God, I feel like so connected to this place on a visceral level." And we went to the barista parlor there. It was so good as well. And that coffee shop was very bright, wide. I go like this because I'm very sensorial, very wide and airy and light. Very nice, nicely executed. And then there was the juice bar down the street. You walk down the block, and on the side of the juice bar, there was a wall that's called it's like the kindness mural. And you take a picture there, and you spread kindness on your Instagram if you want. What does kindness mean to you? So I noticed in Nashville, there's a lot of like positive, kind, loving words or sentiments inside businesses as well as outside on walls and things of that nature, pretty much in almost every town that I went to, and I really enjoyed that. So I want to mention also back in Brentwood is that there's a lake that I would like you to visit. Your last couple of days, or your last day at the very least, please take the time to be in nature, because it will settle things in for you and give you a chance to have that gratitude like we did. Whether it's, Percy Warner Park or Radnor Lake in Brentwood, whew, oh my gosh. First of all, get there early, really, really early if you can, because where we parked, there wasn't like parking spots designated for cars. We were just all lined up sort of on the side of kind of walking up and through the entrance. And then all of a sudden you are welcomed by this hugely magnificent, wide circle of a lake. Oh my gosh, beautiful, surrounded by these massive, beautiful trees. And we couldn't get around in terms of the time we had to get all the way around the lake, but it is so worth it if you could do it. And you're not passing anybody without saying hi. People will say hi to you. And I got to sit halfway through right by the water and hear the rustling of the trees and the leaves and the rippling of the water. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. The pictures are incredible. So really quickly, I'm gonna take a quick look here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I did. I wanted to share a couple more things. By the way, when we were in Germantown, we went to Bicentennial Park. So that definitely was great to visit Bicentennial Park. And down below where we parked, before we went through the rolling up hills, up all the stairs, which was great exercise. Down at the bottom, there is an indoor sort of like food market, Jamaican food and different kinds of things that you can eat there, and parking was easy breezy, which was nice. So what I wanted to mention is that we did have on the last day, we had a little bit of time, so we went over to Hendersonville, which is completely opposite of Bellevue and Franklin, the opposite way. We wouldn't live there because it's the opposite way, but again, very easy to get to. And after my trip for Nashville, I was like watching all things Nashville. So now I know a little bit more about Garth Brooks. He is amazing. I'm coming kind of late to that game, late to that ship, but I'm glad I'm on it now. And found that he lived there early on. And there was this beautiful lake that we drove by. This was more of a drive-by because of timing, and the sun was settling, and the purples and blues as the sun was settling was magnificent. It was so, it felt like so energetically spiritual, you know? And so as we were driving by, we then ended up at the Opry Mills Mall. That is my favorite mall. Opry Mills Mall, I hope I'm saying that correctly. And I ended up buying 2 pairs of sneakers. And the person that was helping me there, she was so nice too. Again, another conversation at the register. And I mean, you know, already you can feel like how much joy you go through life with when you're engaging with people like this. You know what I mean? And so we were hungry, and right next door was a place called Mission Barbecue. Whew. And I guess it's a chain restaurant, but my goodness, if it's a chain, more chains should be like this. It was pulled chicken, brisket, cornbread, mac and cheese, and that was my favorite mac and cheese. It had the crunchies on top, and then you can serve yourself lemonade and sweet tea. So I did my own concoction, and it was so delicious. But that was I can't even say what was my favorite meal because they were all so good. So I know that was a lot, but I hope that gives you sort of a good idea, an overview of what Nashville has to offer you. It gave us so much. And if you have any questions or you want more insights into something that that maybe I didn't cover here, maybe I have information on, go ahead and leave a comment and I will respond to you as best as I can. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to Be You Bloom, and I hope to connect with you soon.